Let's rock it. And let's rock it, baby. We are Huang, and
Heiko, and we're the Essence of Truth podcast.
which is all about the freedom and happiness that everybody wants, do not know how to get.
Exactly. And one of the things that are getting in the way of being happy is that we're always trying to be more confident to get the success that we want, but it seems like it's never enough, right? And so I think we all have been on the path where you're going to seminars, you're watching the videos, you're reading the books, you're hyping yourself up, you're dressing sharp, you're rehearsing what you want to say, you're picturing, you're visualizing everything as you want it to be like, and then everything goes out of the window, right? You're building up this confidence, but then when it matters, it's not really there. It's better than before, but not the way you want it to be. And so I've been questioning myself, why is that? And how come I always need to, boost myself up again? And why can't it be like this lasting kind of thing? And for a long time, I was always like focusing on confidence and confidence and confidence, right? But what I come down to, what I learned to really have a long lasting confidence and to make all the confidence boosts and the hyping yourself up, the affirmations and all this kind of stuff basically unnecessary, is for me it came down to self-love, especially in social settings. So whether that's with friends, whether that's applying for jobs, or even like in the career with meetings, or you're trying to climb up the ladder, because I've noticed that all the pumping up, all the confidence boosts, they were necessary because I wasn't confident inside, and it was just basically building up, this wall or this mask of like, hey, I'm this confident kind of guy, and pretending to be a certain kind of way in order to fit in, to get the job, to be validated or accepted by the friend group. And so none of that was sustainable because deep inside I knew this is not me. I'm just boosting it. I'm basically fake it till you make it, right? So I went the opposite way and I really went deep inside, did a lot of inner work and really build up, came to this place eventually. Like I wasn't searching for self-love, but eventually I came to this place of just loving myself and like really deeply, genuinely, and working on that. And what I've noticed along the way, and it was more like a side effect, that the way I'm talking to myself changed. The way I approached new things or uncomfortable situations changed. And what I've noticed most of all is that I was more grounded, more centered, more within myself. I was okay if I didn't get the promotion. I was okay with not being accepted. I was okay with, what I'm saying wasn't funny enough, or, they didn't like my idea or whatever kind of thing. Where before I was almost like in this needy, desperate kind of energy of like, I need this to happen. I need to be accepted so I can feel good enough. So it really created the space of like knowing I am good enough and I don't need to fit in everybody's worldview. If there's no match, so what? Moving on, right? The life goes on. There are a million other people. There's somebody who likes my idea or likes my joke or whatever I want to present. And so this, this made a huge shift in every social situation, but also it removed so much weight that I put on my shoulders because I always thought I need to be a certain kind of way. And so I didn't need to boost my confidence or anything at all because I could just be me. And it came to a place where like I was kind of slowly, testing things out in different settings. And so first of all, friendship settings worked quite well. Actually, it was very much appreciated because by what I noticed also, I was way more open. I communicated open. I accepted my flaws, talked about my flaws. And this created a space where people simply felt comfortable around me. They felt comfortable to share because I didn't judge myself and I didn't judge them, and they felt it. So they could open up. And so then I went to, in job related settings, started to share there, even in job interviews, sometimes transparently, opening up to my flaws and how I'm working on them. And I even got statements where like, man, I've been doing interviews for 25 years. This was the most interesting and most genuine interview I've ever had. because most people trying to fake, trying to pretend, and you're just you. And this usually this is such positively received because they know what they get. There's so much trust. There's reliability. There's so much built respect built, which is the essential foundation for every relationship. And so, to me, this became a foundational part. And so, even with my clients, we do the inner work. We don't work necessarily on confidence boost, unless really something quickly needs to happen. But we do the inner work so that it comes naturally, and you don't need to fake it or something. You are you, and you will you magnetize yourself. You will attract the people that you like, that are interested in your things, that are matching your values, and you're repelling the others. So it actually, life gets easier that way, because it's almost sorting themselves out. But I also want to highlight that, yes, self-love is an incredible important part, and it's very essential, but it's not all. So I don't want you to think of like, hey, okay, I just need self-love, everything else fits in. And I think, Huang, you can very well explain why that is.
Oh, self-love and confident, huh? Wow, interesting topic. I believe, as as how we I believe self-love or love is how we either treat ourselves and treat others, right? It's a it's a way of being treated. It's like how our parents treating us, starting with our our dad. Well, tough love. We often hear that. Or big brother, again, tough love, right? And mother, it's just more like smoothing, right? Like, oh,
Nurturing.
nurturing, like, oh, my little baby. And they often fight over how to treat a child. But at the same time, both, we as a kid kind of need both, isn't it? Too much of the tough love, well, we become, I don't know, insensitive, right? We become so strong, but insensitive. And the other one, when we are like, very much like, oh, little kid, and we become weak and we stay there. So we really need both, and they grow in a different way, like yin and yang. So yeah, how it's being treated by our parents and brother, sister, and so on, it expands further. So love, and self-love, they have a different form, a different taste, a different feeling toward it. And as for confident, uh, we practically, when we have the grounding things, right, that we believe that we worth existing, we can then slowly building toward, like, for example, me. I haven't practiced parkour. I used to do that, practice parkour for a very long time. So if I were to going out there and doing the pasmarai, which is climb up building, I'm not gonna have the confidence to do that, or climbing up and other things, or heck, even doing the backflip or the front flip, or broke my bone, injure my head, right? So no, at least I slowly building up slowly. So confident is the ability for me to trust in myself, to slowly building up forward, to brick by brick. After I have the trust and faith that I'm worth doing that, and how I treat myself during and before the journey to become more confident, which in turn become competent, which actually your words I'm taking right now, from the beginning of our talk. And yeah, it's actually close, but it's not the same.
Yeah. Yeah, very well said. Because, and this is the thing. I mean, I can love myself so much, doesn't mean I can do a backflip, right? So when it comes to skill building, then as you said, step by step, brick by brick, you're building yourself up in order to perform this movement, this technique, whatever, even work related, right? Something that any physical kind of skill. But where self love fits into that is then how you're approaching this. Because I could, try to learn this new thing, like parkour, right? I could, it looks cool on videos. I want to try it, and then like, oh my god, this is so painful or so hard. I can't do this. It's for other people, but it's not for me, right? So like, there's one side, which is definitely not self-love, right? So you're basically beating yourself up, you're, putting yourself down, and you're not really believing in yourself. While when you come from a place of self-love, like, I can't do that yet, but I can learn it. And I love, actually, I'm having fun doing that, right? I'm even, maybe it takes me 6 months to do this kind of move or overcome this obstacle, but I can get there. And I can feel it right now. I can see myself doing this. I'm trusting myself that I can do it because I learned so many other things before. I can learn this too. Right? So it's a completely different approach in thinking and how you're seeing things and the meaning you're giving to them. Examples for me back then when I lived in Australia, a friend of mine asked me to do slacklining. I had no idea what it was. I had no idea how it works. And so basically, between two poles, you just basically span this slack line, and it's like it's like, I don't know, like maybe 4 fingers was this one. And so you're trying to stand on your feet, balance yourself, and walk along it. It sounds super easy, but actually it took me probably 2.5 hours just to stand on it and walk a couple steps. And I tried to get up, fall down, try to get up, fall down. I was potentially falling down like 200, 300, 400 times before I could even stand on top of it. And I noticed my self-talk, because after a while it kind of gets frustrating. It's like, oh my God, people seeing me, oh, this is embarrassing. I should be able to do that. But I'm like, wait a minute, no. I'm doing this the first time. I've never done something like that. And actually, like, because I could see my friend doing this, it actually looks really cool. And so I want to learn this. So I kept on going, and I noticed, wait a minute, I'm actually, it takes 3 seconds longer until I'm falling down. So I'm making progress. And I just kept on going until I finally could stand on it. It's like, wow, cool, yeah. And of course, I fell down again. And then you're trying some steps and you fall down again 1,000 times. But it's like everything. Like, when you're a child, you're crawling, you're trying to stand up, you're falling down again, you're standing up again. Because as a child, we don't have this problem. And even with communication, when you think about, if you had your own child, like, would you say, like, I know, just give up, it's not for you, like, just keep on crawling for the rest of your life? And like, no, you would encourage, you would cheer your child up. But within ourselves as adults, we are so good to beating ourselves up, to making things so much bigger, so much harder than they actually are, and not really trusting in our ability to achieve that skill, to building up to it. Or we're just simply impatient, because this is one of the things where it's so easy to watch videos of somebody else doing it, some experts, where it looks so easy, and then you're trying to do it and it's the complete opposite of that, right? And you didn't even imagine it to be so hard. But the thing is this, you can learn everything. Like, this is the beauty of being a human. Anything we repeatedly do, we become better at. We're building new neural connections. Our body is getting more tuned to it, so we will get better. The only thing that matters is that you never give up. And when you're approaching this from self-love, you're focusing on your progress rather than your failures, then the whole journey makes way more fun. And guess what? Along the way, you're even building up more self-love with that. You're building up more belief about yourself, more trust in yourself. You're grounding yourself. And this is then where you can move in any kind of situation. And people might be judging you or saying something bad about you. It won't even matter, because you know who you are. But you can only know who you are if you've been working on yourself. And I think this is one of the things where I, at least, it struggles with, where, you're growing up, you're going to the kindergarten, you're going to school, you're doing this, you get your apprenticeship, you're going to your job. Like, basically, you get told what to do all the time. And there is almost like no space to really look into, like, hey, who am I? Who do I want to be? How do I actually want to live? And this is when, at some point, I quit my job, left the country, started traveling the world. And during that period, there were so many things I learned about myself. Yes, I saw the world. It's amazing. But the richest experience was getting to know myself. And with that, then came the self-love that I mentioned before. And so thank you, Huang, for really getting into it, because I can imagine, like, man, you've been learning so many skills. I think you're really into this, competence building, of the skill building, whether it's martial arts, parkour, or anything. And so I can imagine you're very well attuned to, the mindset, the approach, the language, the focus that you need to actually get to that level.
Oh man, there's a lot of things that you share over there, and if you guys haven't noticed it, he literally just share with you how to love yourself, which is how to treat yourself during the process of becoming, while gaining confidence and thus slowly building up your competence within yourself and moving forward when being happy. Because I remember this is actually from from Tony Robbins, one of the people I admire. He say, what is success? After you have gained success, right? And and you're not fulfilled, or you're not happy, man. In what he say is ultimate failure. And guess who was like that? Um, Robin Williams, wasn't it? Um, I mean, he can do anything, right? He become comedian, right? He's the best comedian. He make the world laugh. He did it, right? And then he went and want to have his own show, and he got it, right? And afterward, he want to master or have, I don't remember what it was again, master the art of not being funny, which is drama, and he did it, right? And he practically got everything done, and which is kind of inspiring because all of us have the capability to get anything that we want in terms of, well, focus and hard work in that way. And yet he hung himself, right? So if you don't wanna get to the place of ultimate failure, which is only about success, right, and have no fulfillment, which is with the love that you do or have during, um, and for yourself at the end as well, fulfillment, then that's the ultimate failure. So yeah, I would re-listen to what Coach Heiko just shared so that we don't go into that place, right? So thank you so much for the code that you share, brother.
Thank you for your kind words.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, um, you are so right about when we're growing up. I think this is kind of how this has always been. When we grow up, then we get told you are this, you are that, you this, you that, and not because of ill will or whatever, but they kind of like have the intention. I will hallucinate. I don't know. I'll hallucinate that they have the good intention, right? They believe that is who we are and that is what we are, and so they're telling us that. And sometimes, even though they are doing out of love, and it doesn't always turn out in the right way, right? And it become confusing for us at a certain age, which luckily that is when puberty hits, right? No, it's not me. Go away. And I do know about that. As for me, the puberty in Netherlands, switching between culture and everything changes. It become extremely interesting, challenging, and it took some time to get over and to retain or become or discover who we are. And only by challenging places, things, and our internal, what we learn throughout the years, then we find that out. And and here's the interesting thing, guy. It doesn't just happen at our puberty. And I think this is what you are talking about, brother. It's happened every other places we enter as well. Think about workplace, right? Think about the place of sport, which is what I done with parkour and martial art as well. They have their own culture, they have their own belief, they have their own framework. And how much are we taking it over, and how we decided which is right for us, wanting to learn the skill and at the same time maintaining on having that self-love, right, throughout the journey is so important, so we don't get to the place of ultimate failure. um, yeah, yeah. And it certainly is an interesting journey, and I fall plenty of time. um, I mean, parkour injury, right? And martial arts injury, and and with other places as well, relationship and learning skill. So yeah, but as long as you going through that and you treating yourself, this is something that we need to, I believe that when we pay attention to where we are, as you share, right? And and yeah, um, I think I forgot the other one. Oh man. Uh, so I'm going to keep it at where you are. And I think the next part is where you want to go and how do you want to feel during and how much are you willing to giving up or at least, yeah, putting your energy into. And the rest is history.
Yeah. And I think you hit a very important part in there where like literally just looking where are you at is so helpful to actually also see where am I basically on my level of self-love, so to speak. Right. And what I've noticed, for instance, because I'm like you, I'm like growing, trying new things, did martial arts and went to all these seminars and everything. But I also learned that a part of me was it's not just out of pleasure, out of love, because I deserve to grow and I deserve to, experience life more. But it was also part of me that tried to prove to myself that I'm good enough. And so I then noticed like, okay, there's a part that where actually, self-love is missing. Because if I would fully love myself, there wouldn't be the need to prove myself that I'm good enough. And so that was a very strong indicator for me, at least in a certain area. And this is also the thing, right? Where you're at is actually the best question for that, where like not just right now, but also where and which area of life. Because it's sometimes just in certain areas where I also notice then I'm feeling insecure here. Maybe because I'm lacking competence, right? I'm needing more skills. Maybe because of something else. Maybe a childhood thing that gets triggered and it makes me insecure. And for me, those are the two main indicators where, self-love could be improved. Or there's something that maybe, an old wound that needs to be healed or anything like that. But what I'm doing is this really just out of pure pleasure, pure growth, pure excitement, fulfillment, or am I trying to fix something there? Do I need to prove myself or somebody else to get validation so that I can then feel good enough? Or if I'm just simply enjoying it? And if I'm going to a certain place, whether it's at work, certain social group, maybe, politics or whatever, when I'm entering that place, am I feeling insecure? Is there some anxiety coming up? Where is it coming from? Why is that? And is it tied to self-love? Is there something in me where there's something missing? So this is basically what I'm using as indicators to see, oh, maybe I need to do some work there. And same thing, it's the same approach. I'm doing this out of loving myself because I deserve to just, love myself, love the life that I'm having, no matter where I go or who I'm interacting with. And I'm fully aware that there can be old wounds, there can be things from childhood, there can be something lingering in my mind or in my body that's triggering something. And so, if so, cool. I'm working on it and then I move on. I don't need to cling onto, being perfect or being certain kind of way. I'm just me. And as long as I know within myself I'm doing my best at this moment, I'm good. Even if that means, maybe I'm having a bad day and maybe my performance isn't the way I know I'm capable of, performing. If that's what it is today, but I gave my best, I'm happy with it. I don't need to beat myself up just because last week I've been better at that. Right. So there's a lot of measuring and it's so much in tune with the self talk you're having, whether you're doing something, whether you're going somewhere, and the reason why you do what you do. So this is really like I guess you see this is really deep work and it requires a high level of self-awareness. And that's why I thank you, Huang, for pointing that out because I find this is so important. Like if you're missing the awareness, where do you even start? Right. So thank you.
You are very, very welcome, brother. And that you highlight a very important point, right? Knowing, as you were saying, knowing, I'm taking note like crazy. Knowing that that you are doing the best you could, right? And always good. And that is at the end of it. Here's the thing: during the journey, when we, like going for it, uh, having the discipline, doing all those things, is important to maintain the tension, to maintain that focus and power, right? And at the end of it, well, it's also very important, to let go, at least so that you don't stay in there. One of the I think one of the biggest reason why we kind of like burning out a lot of these days, and depression, and all kind of disease, heart failure and that stuff, is because we keeping that tension like all the time without letting it go, without releasing it, and it create all kind of trouble for us. So it's so important. So thank you for saying that. um, to letting it go at the end of it, know that all is good, that you've done the best you could. So you don't need to beat yourself up afterward, right? During creating that, right? And also knowing that you are great. So feeling that, feeling the different. I always love to compare things. So in the feeling itself, and comparing that, how much can your body take? How much can your mind take? And I could speak from experience. Sometimes I do take on things that are like way out of my league, and the emotional bounds, right? Here's the cool thing: there's always place and rooms for improvement. So the greater the risk, or the greater amount of weight, and I'm speaking um, I don't remember the word, but I'm speaking figuratively. Yes, the greater the weight for your mind, body, or whatever it is, the greater the drawback, or the greater the effect as well. And see how far and how much you can handle. Like for me, I remember during the journey of like around 10 years ago, when I started to face and to doing things that literally out of my comfort zone, like so scary. I feel as if I was dying. The emotional toll, I was so exhausted at the end of the day. I was like, I just want to go to bed and, like literally fall there. And that is the emotional one. What about the weight, right? When you lifting weight, the physical one on the gym, right? Or maybe doing martial arts, a different move and the stuff. Don't you feel afterward maybe your physical body have muscle ache, right? Or maybe some other things. So looking for that is so important. So and not beat yourself up. Thank you so much for sharing that, brother. Again, I keep saying that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are all so good in beating ourselves up in different kinds of ways, right? But oftentimes we're not. I mean, I wasn't at the beginning. I wasn't aware about my own voice in my head and what I was saying to me. And when I really practiced becoming aware of that, I was shocked at the beginning of what's going on inside of you. And taking control of that has been probably the most important thing I ever did. Because without it, I wouldn't have, made decisions like quitting my job, traveling the world, becoming the person that I'm now. And so, like, really, like, putting all of this together, it all comes down. It all starts with self-awareness and self-love. And I also think, both kind of go together, because I need the love for myself, that I'm actually willing to get aware of that. Because I also notice there's this fear of, like, yes, I know there's something going on inside of me, but I better don't look at it, because what if it's too much? What if I can't handle this, right? Or what if I'm facing something within myself that I don't even want to see it. So I'm staying away from that, and I'm trying to distract myself with my phone, with Netflix, with food, with drugs, with all these kind of things, because it can be scary. I mean, ultimately, it's within yourself. Like, you have to face yourself. But when you do, and you develop this self love, or like you're capable of approaching that with pure self love, this is the greatest gift of life. Like, there's this, and this is the thing. I mean, I'm talking a lot about, love and nurturing, and, passionate and something like that. But I also, the power, like, let's just call martial arts or gym, right? The power of that, I find, comes from that as well. Because if I really love myself, and I love to push my boundaries, to put on an extra weight, or, to step into the sparring ring, and see what I can do against someone, maybe, or like going to a competition and really compete against someone. Like, I'm putting myself deliberately way out of comfort zone, because I know I want to test myself, I want to see what I'm capable of. And I'm anticipating the feeling that I'm getting from that. Even if I would fail, but I did it. I stepped out of my comfort zone. I tried, I made experiences that so many others won't. And this is how I'm keep on nourishing that, whether that's with power, whether that's literally just nourishing energy. It works in all kind of form, and it all comes down to being aware of what's going on, being willing to look at it, and bringing in this love for yourself.
Bring love for yourself, yeah, and become conscious of it along the way and all the way. As you were sharing, it reminds me of a book. If you want to really know, how to love yourself. And I remember back then in the day, I was so down, and I I literally looking up like how to love yourself. And I found a couple of things that's helpful, and one of the things that's really helpful and it's recommended is a book. I think love yourself like your life depend on it, from I don't remember his name, and it's amazing. If you want to dive much deeper in than just that, so yeah,
And
yeah,
perfect title, perfect title.
yeah, yeah. Love yourself like your life depend on it. I have been listening to it like for a long time, and I still listening it to it, from time to time as well, just to keeping up with that, to as a reminder to myself. And well, I believe because we all are human, so it will also what benefit me, and many others will also benefit you as well. So recommend it.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I read the book a couple of years ago,
Oh,
but
you
it's
did?
it's yeah, I
Oh,
did too. I did too.
cool.
And actually, I made a practice out of it. I basically listened to this as an audiobook while I was walking, through the woods or through the park. So I'm really nurturing my body, fresh air, natural setting, and it was perfect way to really take that in and to feel it and embody it in the same. Because this is also the thing, like how you're doing things. I could just listen to it while I'm, cooking or while I'm stressed or while I'm driving, but then half of it I don't even recognize. And I
Hmm.
wanted to give myself the gift of really receiving with
Hmm.
every cell of my body.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, it all comes down to the same thing.
It is. It does. Come down to the same thing, and it's as you say, right? You can just listen to it like ear in, ear out, as we sometimes, when people nagging us, we just like in and out. But this is actually more than nagging, right? So much better, tastier as well. Um, what you do with it, and how you can allow it to sink in. Like the they just come up in my head, right? Like how we cook the meat or anything when we marinate and let it slowly, like sinking in. It's gonna have a very different flavor than it just, putting it over and just done with it. So yeah, let it sink in, do the practice, and yeah, with really everything that you do, self love, my friend.
Self-love. And I'm very curious about you guys. I mean, we've been talking a lot, sharing a lot of stories. I'm really curious what kind of stories or like experiences did you guys make? Did you what do you, how do you see it between confidence and self-love? Do you believe both go together? Do you believe they are separate? How do you see it with building competence to get confident? Like all these kind of words. I'm really curious about how you are seeing this, what you got out of this episode today, and if you have any questions. And most of all, what are your takeaways? Because when I'm thinking about it, actually today I have two. One thing I want to take with me is that building of competence, right? And approaching that with self-love. Because I think this is still a thing I can improve on, because I'm still sometimes, I love growth, and I can still, sometimes be a little bit too harsh for myself about myself. And so this is number one. And then the second one is something you shared before, Huang, with letting go. Because I also found, during our conversation that sometimes I'm still too attached to a certain thing. Like certain thing needs to happen, or I need to, do something, or something. The result that I'm creating has to be a certain kind of way. And so basically detaching from that, letting go, and bringing in more acceptance, and opening up the flow for more love, seeing more, and also using that energy to bring in more power. if necessary. So thank you for sharing that one. These are my takeaways. And so I'm curious, what are yours?
Yeah, you know, I really love it when you say that when you remove the like the pressure, the weight of faking it, and like when you just being you, and it's very true. It really reminds me, and that is also my takeaway. For me, when I like focusing on pleasing another or having expectation from another, which and then by pleasing, so it's kind of like go in there. And when I remove that, when I just literally just letting go and just being myself, right? In those moments, it really remove a lot of weight. And when you do that, you slowly test it on friendship, right, and job settings and other social settings, and you're focusing on the process of progress instead of failure. It builds so much stronger foundation. So, yeah, guys, the reason why you still don't feel confident after dressing up for power and success, or maybe because you are not building it on solid ground, right? And at the end, we are you, or us all actually, become so success, but is actually a trap to the ultimate failure. So let's not go there. Yeah,
Let's not go there. Yeah. So very well said. Perfect ending for this. And so, like I said, I'm really curious about your guys' shares. Just put it in the comments or send us a message. We would really love to read it. And for me, I just want to say, remember who you are.
and remember power of creation that you possess, guys. All right, and have a placid week. You got it. You're not
Take
alone.
care.
Take care. Bye bye.